All right, gentlemen. Wanted to come on here and talk about a few things um, pertaining to what's going on with the economy and all that. Ain't looking too good. It's all really bad news. Um, and grocery prices have gone through the roof, and we've got a bunch of layoffs that are going to start happening. I mean, I just heard, and many of you heard, Twitter, Amazon, FedEx, they're laying people off. I think Amazon's going to replace all their workers with freaking robots. Either that, or they're just going to let them go. You know. So I wanted to come on here again to try to prepare people and warn people to get ready. There's going to be layoffs. We're looking at possibly a recession if it continues, a really bad depression. And in a lot of ways, it's already happening. My advice and what I'd recommend you do is number one, if you haven't already, you need to save your money. You need to have yourself some sort of emergency fund. Roughly, if you're a single man and, depending on your bills and stuff, you want to have at least, now we're talking about an emergency fund, roughly $2,000 to $5,000 in cash for yourself individually that you can take in case you need to grab that money and either leave or use that for an emergency. And depending on how much money you make or what your situation is, you want to have an emergency fund and you want to have at least 3 to 6 months of bill savings accrued if you can do that. I don't know about right now. I think it might be too late. But if you can do it, save up at least 3 to 6 months worth of bills, so that in case you lose your job, depending on whatever you do, you can have some buffering time to help you get by. I'm not spending really any money. I haven't spent really very much of any money lately because of all the things going on. I am very concerned about what's going to happen to this country, and I know what their plans are. I mean, that's what they talked about in Agenda 2030. You will own nothing, and you will be happy, and that's exactly what they're working towards. I mean, you can go up there and look what their plan is. I mean, it's not, it's all right there. Out here where I live, they're now starting to. They know that people are not going to be able to afford to buy houses. So what's happening is that there's a company, and it's not BlackRock, but actually, I'm sorry. The company that's doing it is owned by a subsidiary of BlackRock. I'm sorry. So that's all in line with all of that, of course. But they're buying up all the houses and they're making them rent. It might not be that when Schwab talks about you will own nothing and be happy, it might not be that the case that you literally will own nothing and be out on the street, although that is a high possibility if things go real bad. But it also means that you will not own your property. You will have to rent. And who owns it? The companies own it. And you buy and rent from them. You have to have permission to to have the graciousness of having a fucking house. And not only that, you won't even own it. You'll have to rent it and you'll never go towards anything. And that's what we're dealing with. It's all right there. But where I live, they're buying up all the properties and they're making them rent because they know people aren't going to be able to afford it. And you know what that's going to do? It's going to bring in people from the city to come out here and escape the cities, and then they're going to be able to rent or have a family of fucking three or four of those people in there renting out those houses, and they're going to bring the crime with them. Already in a desperate time of uncertainty. So you can see where this just cascades and cascades into bad news. And I come up here and make this video for you guys to try to warn you because I care. I don't want to see people go through what's about to happen if they keep on, which it looks like it will. I to see you get caught off guard on this thing. I want to see you at least be prepared as you possibly can. So my advice is, like I said, get yourself an emergency fund set up, and if you can afford to do it, put away 3 to 6 months or 7 months, 3 to 4 months worth of your bills that you accumulate every month, and save up that amount. Roughly 3 to 6 months. It's important. We're going to be going through some hard times in this country, and it hasn't even begun yet. I would be lying to you if I said I wasn't very concerned. I mean, this is the kind of stuff I've been talking about that was going to happen, and when it finally comes, it always comes when you least expect it. You think you have everything in order, and then you start seeing the holes and things, and it's a good time to try to patch those holes before the water comes. Another thing, make sure that you have food and water put away. Roughly 3 to 6 months worth of food and water. You got to eat. You got to have water. And if you can't get access to it or something happens or whatever, you're going to be in trouble. Don't count on other people to help you. You're on your own. You kind of have to look at this like you're a soldier deep behind enemy lines, or you're trying to survive, because that's what this is going to turn into. I mean, it's a matter of survival. It is also very important that you maintain your friendships and relationships if you can, or if you have any. You're going to need people to watch your back, and you're going to need help. This is not something that you really want to do on your own if you can help it, but don't count on anybody to come to your aid either. You need to have people watch your back. You need to have people that are going to be your friends and help you out when times get tough, because we're going to go through some hard times, and we need to look out for each other the best we can. Now is not the time to argue. It is not the time to get upset at people. It is not the time to do any of that, because you're going to wish you didn't if you do. When when things do really get tough. I mean, right now we've got oil prices. I mean, gas is going to go through the roof. I recommend you stockpile on fuel while you can. If you guys haven't, people haven't learned that from the previous time when the gas prices shot up to $5 or $6 a gallon in my area and upwards of $8 and $9 in California. It kind of told you, hey, look, this is always possible. Get prepared. Stockpile up on it. At least get yourself enough fuel to fill up your vehicle one time. However many gallons your tank holds, you need to have that much stockpile at least once. At least one time to fill up your tank, if that's all you do. And you want to have at least, more than that, of course. But you need to look out for people. You need to watch each other's backs in this time. It's very, very critical. We've got the stuff going on over there in Europe, and that's getting out of control. I mean, guys, it's crazy, man. It's nuts. I don't even know where to begin with all of it. I can feel it. I can feel the anxiety. I can feel the uneasiness of what's coming. And in many cases, part of it's already here when it comes down to the economy and stuff. The beginnings of you see, because they want to destroy the United States. That is the goal here. They want to destroy the United States. They want to crash the economy, and they want us all fucking poor. They want us out of here. They want to kill us off. This is the whole entire goal. And some people never believed me when I told them that. Well, you're about to see. It is becoming a matter of survival for us here, to make sure that we have food and water put away, that we have prepared the best we can, and we watch each other's backs, and we make sure that everybody's okay. If you've got friends that care about you, watch your back. Everybody's going to need help on this. We need to work together. But I'll tell you again, don't expect anybody. You need to prepare like no one's coming. So get yourself some money put away. Get yourself food and water put away. Watch your spending. As far as jobs are concerned, I think it doesn't matter what job you have right now. everybody's job is at risk. You know, you never would have thought that people who are IT techs and people that work in, you know, the tech industry, right? Technology is everywhere. You know, would have thought, oh, they have a stable job. Well, now if somebody comes up and fucks it all up, they don't. There's no such thing as job security anymore. It doesn't matter what you do. Everything's going to be at risk at this point. Obviously, certain jobs are going to be more secure than others, but the majority of the jobs, no matter where you're at, are going to be at risk of either layoffs or you're just going to get fired. I mean, that's just how it is. So you need to prepare the best you can. And if you haven't already, my God, you need to get yourself armed and get yourself some self-defense because that's going to be critical. Watch your security. You know, I was talking with my friend about this, and we both noticed that people are very uneasy now. I can tell it, and I can see the looks on their faces. There's just this anger, and I don't even know if it's anger. Well, maybe it is, but there's a great sense of uneasiness amongst people. They're worried because things are getting serious. You know, their dollar is not stretching the limit, and grocery prices are very expensive now. You know, you're gonna, if you haven't already, you're gonna have to mentally toughen up, and you're gonna have to stay focused on your goals and what needs to happen. You know, I know that it's hard, and a lot of people want to feel weak right now. They want to just crawl in a ball and forget about it all, but you can't do that. You do that, and you'll be in some big trouble. One day you'll get a metaphorical knock on the door, and that'll be the problem, and then you won't be ready for it, and you'll be in some real deep shit. And I don't want to know what that's like. You know, you can't prepare for everything, but you can prepare for what you can prepare for. Everybody has the chance to do this. Everybody has a chance to save a little money. If you don't make a lot of money, then put away what you can. If you can only put $5 or $10 away a week, then do it. It's better than not having nothing. You have to be diligent with this stuff now. Thanksgiving is coming up on Thursday, and I think I'll be doing a podcast, and we'll talk because I don't probably go, you know, spend time with the family, and then after that, or potentially, you know, I might do it before or after. I'm not sure. I might even do one before and then one after. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But I'd like to do a podcast, and I'll ask a couple people if they want to join me for a few minutes or maybe a little bit, and we'll maybe make something happen. But I just wanted to come on here and talk a little bit briefly about that, and just another warning to everybody: just get ready. Get ready for what's coming. Do your best to get prepared. I mean, we're going to be going through some hard times in this country, and it's only just begun. So I guess another thing is, you know, don't freak out. Don't let this depress you. You have to think clearly, as hard as it may be. You got to have a clear mind, and you've got to don't panic. Take the necessary steps, like the things I've advised you to do, and there's also many other things. But take one step at a time, starting today, because we're running out of time. I mean, it's so hard to say what's going to happen from day one to day two. You know, every day you wake up, it's something different. You know, every single day I wake up, it's a different thing that's happened, and I'm dealing with my own issues right now regarding my employment and working for an absolute abusive boss. You know, my boss is highly abusive to me, and I'm trying to figure out my way out. And I've got a couple leads in mind, but nothing solid at the moment. And that's a tough situation for me to be in. It's hard, especially with Thanksgiving is right around the corner. I mean, it's next week, and then Christmas. I mean, what a terrible time. I mean, it's one of the it's just a bad time for everything to happen right now. But you know, we have to work with what we have. So don't panic and don't freak out and don't get depressed about this. But this is very serious right now. And some of the sources I've heard, you know, there will be more food shortages. Gas prices will increase. and people are going to get fired and laid off in big ways, like we've seen with Amazon and Twitter and all this stuff going on. So I think that's all I had to say about that. All I wanted to say about that, at least. Um, we'll talk more about this, possibly a little bit on Thanksgiving. I mean, I don't want to ruin people's Thanksgiving. I think we should, if you haven't, go spend time with your family. If you don't have a family, then guess what? That's what I have my podcast on here for. We'll talk. But spend time with your family if you have one, and just try to get along because we got some hard times coming, man. We really do. Some of the stuff I've been looking up and seeing, where economic wise, geopolitical information, um, and other things, it's pretty grim, and I don't think this is going to be a time like many of the other times where it's grim and then things get better and then things get bad and then get better. I think it's going to be like that for longer than we've ever seen before. I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I always say that, but I have to tell you things that, I mean, nobody likes to talk about this stuff because it scares them. But if you don't talk about it, it happens and you're fucking, then that'd just be stupid. That would be arrogant. That would be ignorance to not pay attention to those things. And some people, some people they don't want to think about. Well, let them go to their own little enclave and let them deal with that on their own. But I'm not ignorant. I know I've seen too much. I'm too far in this thing to know to forget about any of it. So you know. But anyways, we also have that snowstorm going on in New York. I mean, it's cold here. I mean, this is the coldest time in November I've experienced in years. Usually it's not this cold in November. We don't have snow in November. Well, we don't have snow, but up there they're getting snow. In other parts where I live, there's some snow. Maybe they do, but I'm just telling you, things are. The weather's weird and the economy's not doing well. I mean, we're buckle in, guys. It's going to get crazy. I'm telling you, it's going to get crazy now. That's why I've tried so hard to get people ready this last year and made videos telling people get prepared and everything because we prepare for events like this, possibly losing your job or prepping is not just about people think prepping they think preparing for a freaking invasion on their soil, but prepping is just what people do when hard times hit. That's what your grandparents did: put money aside, put food away, and be smart about your money and smart about your decisions. you know One last thing I want to say, and then I'll be done, is having a good outlet for stress relief is going to be very important in this time. Injecting yourself with drugs is not going to help you, obviously, to escape. That's going back to trying to run away from your problems. But I understand why people do it because they're under tremendous amounts of stress. I understand, but you need to have some way that you can go, or some place you can go, where you can let some stress away, because it is going to get very stressful. If you think it's stressful now, you just wait. You haven't seen stressful yet. And I don't even know if stressful is the right word. It's a lot more than just stressful. So, it'll be a matter of survival if things keep going this way. Which is why I make these videos to try to help people. I don't want to see people be caught off guard in this thing. I want to see everybody as prepared as they can possibly be. And if you do that, there's a lot more comfort in knowing that you have those items, you have those things set away, instead of running at the last minute and going, oh shit, what am I doing? What am I going to do? I don't want to hear what am I going to do? I want to hear I'm not worried about it. I know what I'm going to do. All right, guys. I'll talk to you soon.